of that was that he had a cold, so his mom didn't let him get sick. So it was like the worst.
Okay, we're mics on, recording, you can hear us, okay? We're good.
I'm feeling today.
Taking my medicine.
You're not coughing, right?
Oh, yeah. Getting better though. Getting better.
I could never get anything,
Businesses?
you know, I didn't get any prescription medication,
My friend on the end has the same thing.
Staff exhibit, but I don't think it's,
but I just took NyQuil.
yeah, the staff exhibit shows the whole building prior to renovation.
I haven't,
And then the
Other than
current
that.
site, you need me to pull it up as just a supplementary. We're good.
Oh, yeah, the hot toddy.
No, it wasn't. And I guess I over-reported.
Our last meeting was October 19th. Wow. Our last meeting was October 19th. Wild.
Is that the January 5th magazine from the village?
Well,
Oh,
it's weaning
October
me from
19th was the last meeting we had.
I don't have.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't
Guess so.
have confession. I still have an alcohol beverage.
Yeah, for the scary stuff. Because the first 3 pages.
Once or twice a week.
How you doing?
Oh, then we'll show you.
Hi.
Oh, yeah, you're doing that.
Hi.
Chairperson.
I was.
Fred, do you know?
Could-
Trustee Ann Fulton, she's our liaison,
No, not it.
village board.
Well, yeah, we didn't have a meeting in December.
Trustee.
In November,
Yeah.
There wasn't enough business and that was canceled too.
wow.
And,
Oh, it's no longer.
yeah, whatever. And it's,
We've met, right?
no, it's-
If we did, it was very brief, so hi, Noah Schumer.
They recently expanded.
Oh.
But they've always been, hey, Fred, how are you?
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Good evening, sir. How are things? Good, looking good. Thanks.
How you doing?
I'm doing,
Good.
good evening.
So,
Nice
Nice
to
to
see
see
you.
you
I
again.
mean, I like to.
Glad to have you here.
Yeah, it's nice to be here.
Oh my gosh.
It started at 10 this morning.
I don't know why. I just, I wanna.
We have our bank meeting on safe.
You've been going since
They should be.
early this morning.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've been home for 45 minutes.
So anyway,
I've been, I admire your strength.
we have like a.
I don't know about that.
Oh, yeah.
Losing
And
the
no,
story.
really, they are very good at ordering stuff for me. And, so anyway,
But I'm plugging along.
last week,
I have no choice.
Because,
Keeps you young, keeps you
to be
going.
honest, I've been
Yeah.
there since
Susie's been
Thanksgiving,
keeping
that's
me
when
going
it
with her
expanded,
Oh.
so
eBay.
they were- I went different directions.
So is everybody ready?
Next party I have to go to.
The other two members are not coming?
We did not hear one way or another.
Okay.
Oh. That's how I expect.
Yeah, it's like, whoa.
Are you two all ready?
We are.
Yeah, we are.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting to order for Thursday, January 11th. We have one case before us. And we have to do our roll call. And then we have to approve our minutes from our last meeting. And the way we conduct our meetings is, I presume you two are the petitioners? Okay, we're gonna ask you at the proper time to come up. State your name and address. We're gonna swear you in as all testimony is taken under oath, okay? Roll call?
Member Alfonso,
Here.
member Bransky, member Cap,
Here.
member O'Brien,
Here,
member Johnson, member Castaneda,
Here.
Chairman Zarzega.
Here. Okay. We have one case before us, case number 23-28, a variance to a parking requirement for the operation of a restaurant at 810 Maple Avenue. First thing we have to do is go through our minutes from our last meeting of, when was it? September? No, October 19th. Anybody have any changes to our minutes from our last meeting?
No,
No,
No?
I would like to comment on the thoroughness of the organization as presented. So
Well, if that's the case, nobody has any changes, we will entertain a motion to approve them as presented.
so moved.
I'll second it.
Okay, we got O'Brien and Cap. Roll call, please.
Member Alfonso,
yes,
member Cap,
Yes.
member O'Brien,
Yes,
member Castaneda,
Abstain.
Chairman Sarcega,
I will abstain, I was not here. All right, our first case is case number 2328, a variance for a fast casual carryout restaurant at 810 Maple Avenue, Unit C. The legal notice was published in the December 22nd, 2023 edition of the Daily Southtown. Letters were also sent to property owners and residents within 250 feet of the property. Have we gotten any feedback from anybody? No, okay.
I received one comment, that they believed that just, they had questions about the mailing itself rather than the case itself. They didn't have any comments on the
Oh, okay.
specific property, but I did receive one comment formally.
All right, thank you. Okay, so you are requesting the applicants Ahmad Abed and Mohammed Majid. I did pretty good. Requesting a variance to modify parking requirements for the operation of a carryout restaurant at 810 Maple. Building is currently fitted for 2 commercial retail spaces. And the applicants are proposing to the creation of a 3rd tenant for a fast casual carryout restaurant. The proposed use is a carryout facility as defined by the village zoning ordinance. A business which sells food and beverage to the consumer in a ready-to-consume state whose operation includes serving food or beverages in paper, plastic, and other disposable containers, and does not include associated dining, seating for dining. And I have questions about that. But can I have the petitioners come up and we'll swear you in? Yeah, both of you. You want to each state your name and address for the record, please?
Mohammed Majid, 810 Maple Avenue.
Ahmad Abed, 810 Maple Avenue.
Okay, and you solemnly swear the testimony you're going to give is going to be the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, tell us in your own words exactly what you want to do at that space.
Yeah, so we are proposing to open a fast casual restaurant. This would be our 3rd location. It is a fast casual Mediterranean concept. And the other 2 locations we have are in Downers Grove and Bolingbrook, same concept, approximately the same square footage as what we have there. 65% of the business is online ordering deliveries, and probably 20% is carryout.
And then we've already made some changes as to the allowable parking variance. Similar to the one requested in this case was approved to allow the applicant to reduce the total number of required parking spaces from 48 to 28, which is a 42% reduction. And you feel that adding this additional retail space or restaurant space is not going to have a problem with parking?
Yes, sir. Both businesses that are there now are probably using less than half of the parking on a day-to-day basis. We actually, with Noah's guidance, took I guess you could call it a survey of 2 weeks of allocating for any of the cars totals that were used, and actually got footage over to Noah showing them that we are not even using, not even 40% of what we have available to us now. Also with the guidance of Noah and Angela, we've actually created an additional 4 parking spots in the rear of the building, where we will create an entrance for in and out, and designated about 3 parking spots, I believe, strictly for carryout.
Okay. Member Alfonso, you want to start with any questions or comments?
Okay, sure. Good evening. So I've noticed that you do have tables in the drawings of how the build out of your restaurant area. So you anticipate people are going to be coming and staying there, not just carrying out food.
Well, yeah, it's an option, but we have minimal tables. We have like 3 tables.
I noticed it was a lot smaller than the last time's
Yeah.
drawings. And so historically, when you, in your other restaurants, how many people sit and eat and stay?
I would say since COVID and the pandemic, probably no more than 30%. And if that's probably during lunchtime. Otherwise, when it comes to the dinner aspect, because both restaurants are set up exactly the same, line style, Chipotle style, Subway style, kind of go down the line and go through. But since the pandemic, the business has completely shifted to online ordering and delivery. So I don't foresee that the business being, if it's anything like Downers Grove and Bolingbrook, maybe 20% of the business that people come around, and it is usually typically lunchtime where it's 1 person, 2 people, quick 15-20 minutes and they're out. Majority of the tables that we have in even over there are usually used for those who are coming in and placing their orders, sit down and wait and come in if it's a bigger order. Although unlike prior to COVID, we were that type of restaurant where you come in, you order, you wait, we call you out. Since COVID hit and since people want to now see their food in front of them, and that's just a concept that just makes it easier for the flow of business. It's actually not even being used at all anymore.
So your other 2 businesses that are sharing this parking, they're fairly new. And I see that you're not using the amount of spaces that are allocated to the businesses already. So, I mean, I assume that you want to be using more. You want the businesses to be more robust and have more clientele coming and using more of those spaces. So that's just a little concern that maybe the fact that there's so few spaces being utilized right now is kind of due to the fact that you're new in that area.
You know, one thing I do agree with you that they are newer businesses. And I'll have Mohammed kind of follow up with that because he's more familiar with those businesses, but this type of businesses, both of those places is a quick in and out, grab and go. It's not where it's shop for clothes and try it on and see how it looks and they're coming in, they know what they want, they grab, whether it be into the tobacco store or into the beauty supply. They're coming in, they know what they want, they grab it, they're in and they're out. I think if I had to guess, when we were
Our customers, they're not parked for like more than 5 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're real quick.
Well, I think that's all I have right now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Member Cap?
Evening.
Good evening, sir.
So I've noticed
the improvements that you've made to the exterior, the appearance, painting, new facade, whatever. I mean, it looks nice. Certainly a change and certainly a real, I would say, an enhancement to that area. This data set with the keeping count of parking, was that done by you?
Yeah, I mean, it was, but it was up of like our CCTV. So it was
Okay.
like live, it wasn't.
Okay, so you didn't have somebody sitting there for 11 hours, you just had
No,
somebody
we
sitting in.
took just screenshots straight up of.
Okay, so it strikes me that in this, it's more or less a depiction of the typical parking during the normal business hours in this, in what will be these three shops.
Right.
And then from this, it's certainly easy to pull out, look when the peaks occur and then maybe pull out an average. I mean, this is kind of impressive, two full weeks of activity, which spans a couple of weekends, and weekends appeared, as I recall, to be your most busy times in this building.
Yeah.
In the
Fridays
shops.
and Saturdays, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Well, that's good. But anyway, my point is, I'm sure you've discussed this with our staff, that the parking requirements are usually, are not usually, they're based on a like a percentage of your floor
Square
area.
footage.
Yeah, the square footage. So it's, I think we're using, I mean, you know how we got to the
Right.
39 spaces. I'm not.
Yeah, no, I understand that. It's,
Yeah, but where I'm going with this is that it seems to me that the, well, here, I have a question for it. What would you estimate, based on your other experiences at your other two places, what the peak hours are for service?
Probably 12 to 3.
I mean, not even 12 to 3, I would say more lunchtime. I mean, lunchtime is 11:30 to max 1 o'clock, and then maybe a little dinner rush between 6 and 7. When it comes to the aspect of peak time of like people maybe coming into the restaurant.
Okay, so I'm glad you answered that. So what I did, set up my spreadsheet and I just did averages, different hours, just to get an idea. And I'm glad that you identified what your peak hours are, both at lunchtime and in the evening. I was zeroing in on 12:30 to 1:30 and then 5:30 to 6:30. So it's 5 hours total during the day. My point is, when I took the average of those hours over the 14-day period, it seems like the average that one might expect would be about 5, the maximum would be 5 cars per peak food hour, let's call it that. And, or excuse me, I'm sorry, it would be 5 cars in the parking lot during these food service hours, these peak hours for you. And what I did to try to estimate what your typical turnover might be at the restaurant, maybe I'll ask you that.
How long does it take for the customer to?
Well, less that, but how many customers do you typically serve at your other locations during these peak hours? That's a better question for you.
To answer peak hours, I would be lying if I told you I know exactly what it is, but on a daily estimate of ticket counts, because our POS goes by ticket counts.
Sure.
I mean, we're on weekdays, maybe 50 to 60 tickets through a 13-hour window that we're open, actually 12-hour window from 10 to 10. And on the weekends, we're maybe about 80 tickets. And keep in mind, that's also including the online ordering and the pickup orders. And I would say from that 80, you're talking about 65 to 75% of it is online or pickup order instead of somebody actually physically coming to the location, ordering food and then walking out. Majority of it is getting delivered, or it is being placed online or phone, ready, they walk in, okay, take it out, leave.
Well, even if they come for a pickup, they have to have a place to park.
Correct,
Right.
but I mean, it's a maximum of, if somebody, I mean, I'm sure we've all placed.
Well, of
orders for
course,
food.
yeah.
I mean, typically your food is ready by the time you get there, so, and if that's the case, I mean, it's a matter of 3 minutes in and out.
So did I hear you say that the size of this restaurant will be the exact same size?
So Downers Grove, we're about 1,800 square feet, Bolingbrook, we're about 1,700 square feet, I believe we're
1857.
Yeah,
some change
right,
here.
exactly, yeah.
So
Okay.
give or take 50, 60 square feet.
So, with all that in mind, it just strikes me, going back to how we usually assign the requirement for parking, it's one space per 300 square feet. So in your particular case, that would be, you would need 6 dedicated parking spaces, right? So my point is, you take the 6 for your restaurant plus what I was describing to you, how I manipulated the information you gave us. You seem to be, during these hours that you have identified as likely to be your peak hours during the week and on weekends. See, it seems like for the past year or so, you get about 5 cars parked per hour during these hours in your parking lot, your available parking. So an average of 5 cars parked there for the other businesses, plus the 6 that you would need for your restaurant, that's 11, and you have 28. So I think I'm sort of satisfied with the information that you presented, the way you described how your business is going, and how it's likely to be sufficient for your needs. I might point out as well, the last time we reviewed this almost a couple of years ago, the parking requirement was far greater for the size of your building, and so the variance that we gave you to allow you to have 28 spaces represented a greater percentage reduction from our requirement. So thank you.
Thank you.
Answered my questions.
Okay. Member O'Brien.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, sir.
I'd like to clarify a few things. In the August 11th, 22 meeting, question was asked. Member Alfonso asked if there would be a third business at the location. Mr. Majid stated no, and the beauty store would not have any storage in the back, as everything will be on display. We're 16 months removed from that, and we're coming up to a request for a third business. And the reason for the third business is financial hardship. Obviously, the economy is one thing. Other things take place. There was another statement in that August 11th, 22 meeting. Mr. Majid stated for the beauty store, the customers will buy their supplies and leave. there is strong business at both businesses, but not at the same time. If there are strong businesses, what is the reason for the financial hardship apart from what we read in the Wall Street Journal? What has occurred? In other words, normally a business would have a business plan projecting out 1, 3, and 5 years for their marketing and growth and so forth. And this is a short period of time,
Right.
and it's a logical question. It begs the question.
But I didn't bring up anything about financial hardship.
Pardon me?
Yeah,
I never bought anything, I never said anything about financial
It's in
hardship.
the application. I saw the,
I put financial hardship in there.
Can the property in
Yeah.
question yield a reasonable return? If the variance isn't granted, 2,500 square feet of space would remain empty and cause financial hardship for lack of rent, income, and property taxes, in turn devaluing the property tremendously.
Well, that was, I'm sorry, and I filled out the application, no, so that aspect of it was that space was completely empty. So in the sense of, right now, there is, the tax bill on there is $110,000.
That space was empty to begin with, it's just we never used the space.
You understand my question in
No.
connecting the dots. Statements were made only 16 months ago,
Right.
and here we are, and where are we going to be 16 months? I don't want to project out, but
And
it's a logical question.
and you're a 100% logical question, and that's,
I didn't put the financial.
that
hardship
was
part in
the aspect of looking at the value of the property of sitting there 2,500 square feet, just sitting empty, that if, paying that portion of that denomination of property taxes affects, it in turn does affect the value of the building. So creating another business in there to take off the burden of paying those property taxes out of pocket just would, in a sense, there would be,
It's good financial management.
correct. And that's where we aspect of the initial plan of 2,500 square feet has now, of course, to make it, to allocate enough parking, of shrinking it down to the 1,800 just made more sense than for the parking, and then of course, just to help the burden of that tax bill being there.
Yeah, the tax on just empty space is like 17,000. And we weren't using it, that's why.
In the turn, commercial property, as you're probably well aware, that at the end, if you're not, the space is not being used, well, there's still common area maintenance that needs to be taken care of. There's still taxes that need to be paid, insurance that needs to be paid. And it does devalue the building to a certain extent.
No, I understand that very well.
But if I may, Member O'Brien, that I didn't say that in turn of the aspect of the business plan that they created for the smoke shop and the beauty supply. That was in general statement of the aspect of the value of the building. I mean, stop me if I'm wrong, but if the value of the building stays up, the taxes stay up. And us filing for a vacancy of 2,500 or 1,800 square feet will allow the county to lower the value of the building and in turn lower property taxes, kind of hurting us still because we have to take that financial burden, and then also in turn not creating the revenue for the village or the city.
So you're saying today that the two businesses, the beauty supply and the tobacco shop, are still strong businesses?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'd like to clarify the findings of fact on their item number 4. It shows the square feet as 11,940, and there's a transposition in 9 where it's 11,490. That's about 500. That's two, almost two no, not quite 2 parking stalls. But at any rate, what is
Oh,
the
yeah,
square
here it is.
footage
Of the space,
of the building? Square footage.
The whole building, it's 11,980, something like that. It's right under 12,000.
Okay. The reason I clarify that is because again, in the August 11th, 22 minutes, it indicates that there were questions that was raised about the tobacco shop. It was approximately 4,000 square feet. And the beauty shop, when that was answered, it was 7,000 square feet. And the storage space was 2,480. That's over 11,940. So I don't recall right now if there was ever a submission of the actual breakdown of the 11,940. So the bottom line today is if there was 2,480 square feet in the meeting that you had with the village, and you're using 1,827 for this, there is still going to remain a storage area of approximately 653
Yeah, I
square
think it
feet.
was prior because the tobacco shop and the beauty shop, they ended up switching spots. Because when we went for permits, because this was before the permits. They didn't want the windows to be closed. And then the other side is all windows, the side that's facing Maple Avenue. It's all open windows. So we ended up switching spots.
I'm just trying to clarify the information that we have been given in 22 and now to come out to the 11,940. Does staff have any comments?
If I may, the 11,940 is correct. That's what comes up if you search the property and the tax information. As for the minutes from August 2022, the ones I provided to you, Commissioner O'Brien, my guess, I was not on staff at the time, but my guess would be that it was somehow based on the way the businesses were distributed, that storage area got combined with one of the other I guess that storage area got combined with one of the store areas, say whatever's being stored, the cigars or the
Right.
beauty supplies, what have you. You mentioned the shops got
They
switched.
got swapped.
But I'm guessing that there was in explaining that they got lumped together, because it was presumed that it would be storage for one of the businesses, but the correct number would be 11,940. And again, that's taken from the tax record on the property.
Okay, so we're gonna have 4 areas. The salon, the beauty supply, the restaurant, the tobacco shop, and the storage area.
No, there's no storage
No
area.
storage.
Well, so the original proposal by the applicant was a larger restaurant, it's what you saw potentially in the, one of the previous packets or some of the materials that have been, you may have seen in September or October, with this case. We had severe concerns about the amount of sit-down area and what that might do for the parking demand, this parking variance. And one of the goals of the variance is to reduce the amount of impact and deviation required from the zoning ordinance possible. So we worked with the applicant. That area square footage was reduced substantially to the current 1,827 that you see in the memo provided. That does mean, I presume, and maybe I can get clarification from the applicant, that maybe that space, that extra, say, 600 square feet for what was cut out from the restaurant proposal, either that is vacant space or it's being grouped in with another business. But the variance is pertaining specifically to the restaurant that's being proposed, especially because we look at the parking now for this building as the entire building as a multi-tenant shopping center, rather than the parking divvied out by individual use of the building.
It'd be simple if we just had a breakdown. Based on the comments I read to you from 22, the tobacco shop is 4,000, the beauty supply is 7. The takeout restaurant is going to be 1,827. If you add those 3 together, you come up with 12,827 square feet, which is 1,000 more than what the 11,940 is that is represented here. I'm just trying to clarify the number.
If I may, I think I wasn't at the, I think the aspect of the total square footage of the building, if I remember, I do remember Noah is correctly that 11,900 and some change. I think the aspect of when it was brought to you guys in 22 is the mishap came from the switching of the stores. I mean, there must have been some square footage that was from the switch that didn't get relayed in the aspect of that switch, because there still became that space available.
I guess my frustration is with the fact that this is all anecdotal and there's nothing that was a presentation.
Yeah, but I mean, we have prints for this stuff, you know? We have prints that we turned in, you know. and
I would say that
for
the-
inspections and for everything.
The findings of fact from 2022 in the approval ordinance do reflect that 11,940 square feet as the total square footage. So I'm not sure in the minutes if something was misquoted at the hearing, but that is reflected in the approval
Okay,
ordinance.
I was gonna say the same, I just didn't wanna say somebody made a mistake recording the minutes and throw anybody.
Maybe I said the wrong thing, but I didn't say it.
that will mean that on the findings of fact for tonight, item number 9 will have to change to
Yeah.
11,940.
Right.
The
Yes.
back was 1703.
The typographical error by me, my apologies.
I've made 3 this year, so don't worry about it.
It's just.
Two
We're
left.
having a good year. You just have to,
Not to worry, I'm just clarifying things, that's all. Um, I don't have any more questions at this point.
Okay, thank you. Member Castaneda.
Hello.
Hmm,
So my fellow members have already asked most of what I would have asked, so I just have a couple comments. So anecdotally, I drive by the building almost every day. I'm in Kohl's returning Amazon purchases. And I've been inside that beauty supply store a couple times, and I've also noticed that parking lot, I've always been able to just get a spot right in front of the store, and I've been in and out in 5 minutes. I've ordered a lot of food online and in and out in 5 minutes. And we don't have any other businesses in town right now that serve this type of cuisine. The closest I've seen and eaten food from are Orland and places like that. And I think having a good variety of places to eat is a good thing. And your menu looks good. I looked at it. Online. Thank you. That's all.
That's it? All right, let me ask you a couple questions. What are your planned hours of operation going to be?
Just like the other restaurants right now, 10:30 to 10,
10:30?
10:30 AM, 10 to 10 PM.
Okay, and that's Monday through,
Monday through Saturday, maybe close an hour earlier on Sunday,
what time on Sunday?
9 PM, call
Still 10:30 in the
Yes, sir.
morning to open
it. Yes, sir.
till 9 PM. And what type of food are you planning on serving?
Oh, it's Mediterranean.
Mediterranean, okay.
Yes.
Okay, Mediterranean. Okay, so you're gonna be open Monday through Saturday, night to 10:30 in the morning to 11 PM,
More like 10.
10 PM, okay. And then Sunday would be 10:30 in the morning till 9 PM,
Yes.
okay. You show a, well, let me ask you this. Can I drive up to this, you're gonna have a drive-up pickup window?
No,
I wish, unfortunately. not.
Okay, so it's not gonna be a drive-through.
No, no driving.
I have to park my car, come into the restaurant to
Correct.
pick up my food,
Yes, sir.
okay. What if I wanna come in and sit in the restaurant and order food and eat it there? Can I do that?
Hence why we have just like the for a 12 chairs.
Right,
Yes, that's, we keep it minimal to be anywhere between 10 to 12 chairs.
okay, so I could actually
Correct.
come in, order some food, sit down with a friend or whatever and consume it inside the store.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Questions that I have?
If I may on that comment, though,
Yes.
the only type of food, that type of food also keep in mind, it's from by the time you walk in to start ordering, you're sitting down eating your food within a minute. So it's not waitress service or you're gonna
Right,
have to sit.
right.
So that just.
Well, you said it's like Subway or what was the taco?
Chipotle.
Chipotle.
Yeah.
Okay. And if I want to park, now you've got pickup parking only directly behind the store. Well, I guess that would be to the north of the, the north of the store, correct?
Yes, and there is gonna be an entrance right there.
Yeah, I
As
see
well.
that. But I can park anywhere in that lot
Correct.
and come into the restaurant to pick up my food.
Yes, sir.
So like if I want to, if I want to go into the tobacco shop, I could go there. I probably wouldn't need anything for my hair, but well, you could shop at any of those three
Yeah.
locations and park any place in the parking lot.
Yes,
correct?
sir.
Okay. I think that's the only questions I have. Remember, Ms. Colton, did you have any questions?
No, I was gonna come up and talk to you afterwards and just say how excited I am. I am a huge fan, I haven't been to your restaurant, but I'm a huge fan of Mediterranean food, and it's about time we have some good flowers. So thank you so much for considering.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, you said you have two other restaurants.
Yes, sir.
How long have they been open?
Downers Grove actually just hit 5 years last month.
Oh,
Bolingbrook is coming up on 3 years. We were right in the midst of COVID, so it was not the greatest of times at the
Right,
beginning,
yeah.
but it definitely, we've been there for 3 years and we pulled through.
And where in Downers Grove is the store located?
Downers Grove is 1332 75th Street, South Downers. We're almost Darien. Literally across the street is Darien, so we're
What's the main east-west street?
75th and Main.
Okay, and the main east-west, is that Ogden?
No, we're
No.
north. We're 75th Street, Ogden, 75th, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
75th is east-west, if I'm not mistaken. Main is north-south.
Okay, okay, yeah, all right, yeah, I know where you mean.
Bolingbrook, we're at 282 South Weber Road, right
Okay.
off of, is that, I always forget, 59, I believe, Route 59. And we're
Yeah, I'm not that familiar with Bolingbrook. Okay. Anybody else have anything they would like to add? No? Are we ready to make a motion then?
I guess I do have a question. We identified in the materials that it's a carry-out restaurant. Why not just a restaurant? Since there is seating. Is there a distinction that I'm not getting?
We could identify it as restaurant. It's not really like a full service restaurant, I guess. It's more fast casual, quick service. Maybe less carry out. We could identify it as fast casual, which is not technically defined in our code.
Well, that was my question.
Yeah.
As defined, it says business which sells food and beverages to the consumer in a ready-to-consume state and does not include associated seating for dining on the premises.
Right, generally for a sit-down restaurant or a traditional restaurant, we would have that service staff. It's generally thinking
Right.
there will be a larger employee base, there will be a little bit more formal service. They're still picking things up in a kind of in a fully finished state, like you mentioned in the description there, and that's why I think we move more in the direction of the carryout restaurant.
Mhm.
I will note that the variance is specific to the multi-tenant shopping center parking requirement, since the restaurant type within it won't change the type of variance that will be required for this.
Okay,
Yes.
all right, thank you.
There's a Jimmy John over on the east side of Halsted, isn't there?
There is.
How is this different than that? You go in and you go in and you get your food. You can sit if you want or take it out.
It's not
I mean, that's classified as a restaurant. I'm just trying to, what's the difference?
Didn't our old zoning ordinance sort of make the distinction between carry out and eat in because the way our parking requirements were calculated in the old ordinance?
I think
We had
so.
to account for employees.
Yeah.
And Commissioner Cap, that's absolutely right, from what, and Angela's given me a lot of information about the parking decisions that we made for the ordinance. And this kind of references a previous discussion that we had at the previous hearing in October on multi-tenant shopping centers. And some of the information shared then, is obviously relevant for this case here as well.
Oh, no, Noah brought us a good question. How many employees would you have?
No more than 3. I would say Downers Grove would be considered a decently high value restaurant. We have no more than 3 at all times. Our preparation is all done from 9 to 10:30,
Mhm.
and being that everything is, I don't want to discredit our food because we're definitely not pre-cooked. It's all fresh, but all the preparation happens in the morning, and then it only takes 3 people to serve the entire restaurant. I don't like to compare ourselves to Chipotle. I hopefully one day can and would love to do that. But at this, between Downers Grove and Bolingbrook, there's never more than 3 people.
Okay, now, you said your preparation of the food is done in the morning.
Correct.
So if I come in at 9 o'clock at night, and I'm not exactly sure what kind of food you're gonna be serving.
When I say preparation, meaning like cutting of salads, cutting of tomatoes, like the dicing and prepping. All our food is based like Mediterranean concept of kind of like,
Falafel?
I'm sorry,
Falafel? Falafel.
falafel. Falafel, yes, that's all grinded, set into
The mixture.
It's a mixture, that's what's done in the morning. But when you come in and it's ready to go in a steamer to served out, it's deep fried and set in the steamer per order, of course. The shawarma, which is kind of like the Greek gyro, we also serve the Greek gyro as well. It's all on a skewer that's just takes, light it up, 30 seconds, it's done. And we have it all in warmers, kind of like a Chipotle, so it stays fresh.
Okay.
It's
Right,
not
thank-
like the food is cooked at 9 o'clock in the morning and then you're gonna come at 9 o'clock at night and
Mm.
it's served to you, no,
Let us know when your grand opening is.
Mm.
absolutely.
Do you have any timeline for when you might be opening?
The hopes if all goes well here, we submit our final blueprints to the village and as soon as we get permits, start building out. I think we need anywhere between 60 to 90 days for a build out, as long as, of course, everything goes according. The whole aspect of what hurt us when we were opening up other businesses during COVID was a lot of things were on back order, HVAC and stuff like that. But here it's, now things have kind of somewhat come back to normal where everything is available to us.
Yeah, things are a lot more readily available now than they were. Okay.
The hopes would be to open by at least June. Get the summer,
Oh, yeah.
get the summer crowd and people out and about, they're not cooped up in the house. The get hit tomorrow.
All right,
What's
thank
the
you.
name of
Phil A Pizza.
the pizza? Okay, we will. There you go.
Okay, so are we ready to make a motion?
Well, I just want to make sure we're in agreement regarding the findings of fact. Number 3 says carry out restaurant and number 9 says 11,490 square feet, which obviously has to be changed. That's a transposition. Is there anything else on there that needs to be clarified?
Well, it will still be a carryout restaurant.
I'm just making sure that we're in agreement.
I don't see any, I don't have any questions as far as what's in our findings of fact. Anybody else?
Except 9.
Except that.
Except 9.
Yeah.
No? Okay. So are you ready to make a motion then, young man?
I will make a motion, Mr. Chairman, to recommend approval of case 23-28. Variance from table 44-05-01C and general off-street parking requirements in section 44-05-01A to allow the operation of a new carry-out food service establishment at 810 Maple Avenue with 28 parking spaces and incorporating the findings of fact into the record
Okay, we have a motion. by
as
member-
amended, as
As
number 9 is amended.
Have a motion by member O'Brien. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by member Camp. Roll call, please.
Member Alfonso,
Yes.
member Cat,
Yes.
member O'Brien,
Yes,
member Castaneda,
Yes.
Chairman Zerzaga.
Yes. Thank you very much. When is their next step? To the village board?
This will go to the village board. Unanimous recommendation. Generally, that's a consent item, but I will let you know.
Thank you all for your time.
Okay, have a good night
Have a great evening.
and good luck to you both.
send a note to the department to let us know when you're
Yeah.
opening.
I'm gonna tell my husband when he gets back.
First catering.
Yeah.
Do we have anything else coming up?
Oh, I will.
Do we have anything else coming up in a couple of weeks?
We do, yeah.
Yes, we have a special use permit that's on the agenda for January 25. The public notice for the notice on the Daily South Town just went out on the 11th. And so we will, you'll see that in 2 weeks.
And what
What's
kind,
the
what is it, a special use?
Special use permit, it's for the Honeycomb Hideout at 18205 Dixie Highway.
Oh, it's already open, isn't it?
They're open, however, they are having a use change as they look to do fitness classes and some other kind of more indoor place of assembly uses in there.
Next
They're
door to the
originally
cycling
approved
place.
as a banquet use, I believe, and so doesn't fit within that use category, and so they'll be required to get a special use permit for those activities.
Directly next door to the
Yeah, to the
One
site.
just-
Place, yeah.
The village board approved.
the XFA one.
Mhm.
Well, then everybody in town will get in better shape.
So, but no other business at this time.
And when's the new girl supposed to open? Do we know?
They're very close. They, I mean, they've told me by the end of this month, but I don't think so. Probably March 1st is my guess.
Well, they had 2 Coca-Cola trucks parked over there yesterday, 3, taking up the whole ring road there.
Ooh.
Comes
So
into
maybe
here,
it's
it's a lot.
closer than I think.
Couldn't park.
Interior looks pretty great. I
Oh,
love
with
the
that
lighting
dumpster?
on the ceiling.
With the big dumpster sitting out in front?
So they might be
I think
closer.
I
there's-
think the dumpster's gone.
I think
It's
some
already
dumpsters,
in the
but these are
No, I think
just
it's back today.
Oh, I
2
got
huge
that.
Coca-Cola trucks.
Oh, yeah, they had Coca-Cola trucks there yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jerry Teaser stopped by, they were selling pop lines for Coca-Cola.
So it'd be
I figured.
That
soon.
means it's real.
Yep.
That means
Yeah.
It's real.
Putting in the pop lines.
Bars are
It's
in,
getting there.
lighting on the ceiling.
And I understand all of the apartments are now rented.
All the apartments are leased, yes. They were
Wow.
leased by the end of the year.
That's good.
And it really
Yes.
is.
I was thinking during the tree lighting, how cool it would be to live right there. and
I
have,
know, right?
Looking
During all the
down.
festivals.
Yeah.
As long as they're not playing the music too loud.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
Noise reducing earplugs.
Can't believe people were complaining about that, but what else? Anything else going on?
We'll see you in a couple weeks.
All right.
What about the brewery? Any timeline on them?
They, last I talked, I actually went in there a few weeks ago and they're hoping by April to be open.
Oh, okay.
It looks beautiful
It looks
inside.
really, looks nice outside too.
It looks beautiful inside. It really does.
On the outside.
Yeah.
Everything.
Are they serving food?
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
big restaurant, yeah, they have the private room upstairs, if you remember from the plans, overlooks the street, it's really pretty. They've done a nice job.
It's a nice looking building. Okay, well, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
See you in a couple of weeks.
See you in a couple weeks. Are we going to adjourn the meeting?
We,
Oh, yeah.
yes,
Do we have to move to German?
have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, everybody,
Yeah.
thank you all.
Thank you.
Aye.
I said it was Alfonso first and Cap second.
Yep.
Okay.
There we go.
How's your bride doing, okay? She feeling all right?
Yes, my
Probably
apologies, I
didn't
found out you were
know
the
she had
liaison
call.
a few days
I know,
before
we
us.
just got
She
to
had
sign
put
up.
on.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I had a,
Yeah. So legal
I
second.
followed up after the fall.
What's
She
that?
didn't want to be
Oh, yeah.
about it.
Um,
And I, the next day she was, she should see somebody. So I took her
Not
into
really.
give us high
Not
five
here.
and see-
That looks like.
And
Generally,
they did
they
support.
have it. Generally,
CCA,
they have
so-
it.
Mm.
And
It's usually much more often than the big cat.
they did more after.
They're pretty active.
Halloween, so- and